everyone, this is Brew, your boy Brew, and I'm here to talk about what I think the state of Shadow Priest PvP in Shadowlands right now before rated arenas come out next week. So the day is December 5, 2020. By the way, this video is completely my opinion and what I think how Shadow Priest will go through the season 1 of arena and how I plan to gear and the stats I will prioritize for PvP and what I think I expect from the course of the arena season. So without further ado, let me just hop into my character so you can see what I'm doing. So first, I'd like to talk about gearing. So how do you gear for PvP in Shadowlands? Right now, there's the Honor Vendor. When you fully upgrade your PvP gears, you get 171 for them. I highly suggest buying the trinkets, especially the medallion. If you're not human, if you're human, you can opt to go relentless and the DPS. For a Shadow Priest, I prefer this trinket, the proc trinket, because the unused doesn't really do much value on your burst windows because your burst windows are kind of awkward. Power infusion, void eruption doesn't really sync that well right now. It's kind of awkward. I hope Blizzard will change that in the future, especially for PVE. It's really awkward. It's like it syncs up at the start and then it starts to just randomly go up individually. So so for PvP, I'd prefer the proc chance because you're more of a pressure type DPS, and then you CC, you dot, and then you control. Like you silence, you disarm, you fear, you mind control. Most of the time, you provide the utility, the off heals, the grips, the mass dispels, the life swaps. So, uh, if you're starting out in Shadowlands as a Shadow Priest, you want to PvP or Shadow Priest, I highly suggest not thinking too much about the damage done. You can think about it when you're already good at positioning your character, your cross CCs. Like when you disarm your primary target, you silence the healer at the same time so it don't get dispelled. When you fear the healer, you you silence the other DPS. So it's cross CC. You practice your cross CC. So for gearing, first of all, yeah, I highly suggest buying trinkets. Doing mythic plus zeros because right now they drop 184 item level gear, and some gears, especially for me, I prefer to stack my versatility for the start of the season, looking at like just spamming skirmishes and random battlegrounds. Like hunters, rogues, and warriors, they just destroy me. So I plan to stack on my versatility and as much HP as I can just to be able to survive the burst as a shadow priest because you just need to win. It's always just to win an arena. You just need to survive it, and then especially for setup comps, you survive it, and then you build the pressure as a shadow priest because you're a dot class. You're not those burst tier classes, so it's more of a hard class to use on PvP, but certainly more rewarding. So right now I'm spamming Mythic plus zeros, getting my um, item levels that has verse on it because it has more versa, more int. So technically, it's better for when the season starts. And then so I suggest doing mythic plus zeros. There's just and then spamming random battlegrounds for the trinkets, the weapons. So that's how I plan to gear. And for the conquest, I plan when you're when the season starts, you don't get to buy all your conquest gears. You just get to choose maybe one or two pieces. I plan to buy the pieces that I can put a expensive enchant on, so I don't need to think about it. So that's a good strategy. Some players plan to buy PvP rings because right now in the Honor you can buy this ring who has haste versa and you can buy the same ring. But if you buy the Conquest one, you can wear two of these, like the blue one and the epic one. So some people will opt to go that for a better stat allocation, but I choose to buy the gears that you need to enchant. Maybe I plan to buy the chest. I'm not sure, or maybe the risk, or maybe the ring. But basically, it's what you want to put your enchants on, so you just don't need to think about it anymore. Going towards the season as the season progresses. So that's how I plan to gear up. So next I want to talk about stats. So stats. For Shadow Priest, it's basically intellect, but you get intellect through gear, so you don't need to think about it. So for the secondary stats, I plan to go haste, versa. But at the start of the season, this is what I will do differently. I will focus more on versatility because versa reduces damage you take. So right now it's 7% damage reduction for me, and I'm still getting burst down by warriors and rogues and hunters. By the way, the two-piece trinket provides 40% increased versatility, the damage and healing benefit, not the damage reduction. So it won't make you tougher, the trinket bonus, it'll just make you deal more damage and heal more. So that's why I still plan to stack on versatility because maybe I'll try to get it up to 10% if I can with the gears I have. Probably enchanting my rings with versatility, uh, getting 30 to all stats. Here, I have 20 stamina with minor speed increase. I'm thinking of getting the one with the leech because as a dot class, leech affects you a lot towards the course of an arena match. So I'm still thinking about that. And most of the time, you're not mobile enough to kite warriors or rogues anyway. So the minor speed increase is for me is probably less advantageous than getting the one with the leech or the avoidance and the leech maybe. And then so I plan to stack on versatility at the start of the season. As I progress, I get more conquest gears. I plan to switch more on to haste because haste is our best secondary stat for both PvE and PvP. So when I feel like I can survive now more, I don't die in the first kidney of a rogue, the opener of the rogue, or the warrior's cooldowns. When I can survive it without popping dispersion right away or having to rely on a cooldown from my healer, that's probably the time that I will decide to switch to more haste gears. So that's how I plan to allocate my stats at the start of the PvP season. So for enchants, um, well, you already with my stat explanation, you already assume no. The enchants I'll be getting versatility here, primary stat here. Of course, here you have no choice. It's intellect. Maybe leech here, and then for the weapon, I plan to get depending on the comp, probably celestial guidance if I'm playing with a warlock. But for a setup comp like a mage, I don't get to dot everything. I probably go for the other one. The is it the sinful revelation one? It's that the sinful revelation is more oriented on a single target kind of like enchant. So when you're playing with a mage, probably or a rogue, when your burst windows is just to kill the target, the sinful revelation is the yeah sinful revelation is better than celestial guidance. But if you're playing with a warlock and you just want to dot everything, celestial guidance would probably be better, be the better enchant for that. So enchants for gems, well, I still don't have sockets on my gears, but I'm planning to gem them with versatility because, like I said, I think Shadow Priest right now are very squishy and a lot of melee classes are very bursty. So the next I'll be talking about is what do I expect? The next I'll be yeah, what do I expect about the arena? Um, I think it'll be very hard at the start of the season, and but I think it'll be pan out okay. Hopefully Blizzard balances few classes for PvP. They tune it, but that never happens. So don't like don't rely on that. But I think towards the middle of the season, once you get more conquest gears, once you get access to all the conquest gears, you get more stamina, you get more versatility, and as you upgrade your gears with the new upgrade system, which is great by the way, um, that'll be the time that I think Shadow Priest will start to shine, maybe around the middle of the season. But of course, at the start of the season, you can still get your rating up. You can still get your titles, your gladiators, but you have to put. I mean, what I mean is you have to put more effort to it at the start of the season instead of the middle of the season. So next, I'll be talking about talents, covenants, and soul binds and legendaries towards the end of this video. So for legendaries, there are two legendaries we need to consider. One is being sold here at the Honor, which is Memory of Cephos. This is a 50 has a 50% uptime on arenas because you're probably gonna probably CC most of the time. Cast your silence, your fears, your psychic horror, mostly all the time on arenas. So this will be up all the time. But the good thing about it, yes, it's up 50% of the time, but it's almost it's 100% up every time you're bursting because every time you're bursting a target, you'll probably of course you're probably going to set it up with a fear or a CC. So this will always be up for the first 15 seconds of uh your 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 battle with the other arena players. So when you switch your target, this will be always up. When you burst your burst windows, this will be always up. So some a lot of rank one are saying that Cephos is good, best in slot for PvP. Another one legendary I like to cover is the Talbadar Stratagem. I think this is also has value in PvP, especially for those if you're running with a rogue. 60% more damage to Mind Blast gives it that oomph that you need, and it so this could also you can also consider this. But as for me, I probably go with Cephus because it's 80 to all stats. So yes, if I'm correct. Oh, this increase all your secondary stats to 80. So this is a lot of like extra damage, extra haste, extra versatility. So you'll be like you'll get more survivability, more damage out of this, and it has 50% uptime on arenas and 100% uptime on your burst windows, which is will probably help you most likely in the long run. So covenants. There's only one covenant for Shadow Priest and PvP for now, and I think it's Ventir. Um, the the skill mind games is absolutely great. It has a lot of potential, a lot of uses, especially if you get used to how to it works and how you play it. It's basically uh, a reverse healing, reverse damage kind of thing, like a necrotic. It's basically like the old DK necrotic strike. That there's a mechanic that you have to heal or DPS to for it to break. For now, it's for me it's like 5,900 damage before they break the buff or 5 seconds. So another skill of Ventir is Door of Shadows. I see this as a utility gear probably for escape. Could be easily interrupted and seen, so I don't think it has that much use in PvP. But I think it will have its uses compared uh, niche uses like getting closer to a healer, door shadowings to have a better position when especially when the enemies try to run away and LOS you. You can use that. And for the soul binds, I will go for Najad, the Mistblade. If if you don't know why this is the best, there are other guys there like Skill Cap or other rank one guilds. You can watch to see their guides, listen to their guides and their reasoning why Naja, the Mistblade, is the best soulbind for especially for Shadow Priest. Basically, this is the best, but you'll have access to this probably in a month or so. It's gonna take really long, but familiar predicaments is one of the best traits you can have in a soulbind, especially for PvP, especially for Shadow Priest who only has one school of magic. Like we only have Shadow, and when we get interrupted, basically ends our life, and all our damage, our healing, our utility just stops. So the last thing I want to talk about is talents. So basically, these are all the good talents right now. So Unfurling Darkness is good in PvP compared to Fortress of the Mind. If you can mind flay, probably versus casters. Yeah, but Unfurling Darkness is really good because you're probably dotting minimum in an arena or two targets. So to build that pressure. So this creates an instant vampiric touch, so you're probably going to be able to dot easily two targets. So I think this will be the best slot for two trees arena. And for the 25 row talent, I think intangibility is no question. Body and soul maybe has uses, but tangibility will be always effective in every game. The reduction is just too, in the CD is too big, and the heal 50% is also too big, especially when your healer is sitting on a CC. You can save his trinket with this. For the level 30 talent, I think it's either Misery or Twist of Fate. If uh, well, for me, I think Misery is the go-to here. Probably maybe Twist of Fate has its uses, but I'll probably never go Twist of Fate. I'll just go Misery, depending if I feel that we need more damage on the execute phases. Because the good thing about Twist of Fate, if you get someone low, especially when you're with a rogue, and you get this proc, it's probably like it creates more pressure, right? So it helps you win. Twist of Fate helps you win, while Misery helps you create the window to win. So Twist of Fate helps you seal the games. Misery creates the opportunity to win the game. So basically, I'll be running Misery most of the time. For the level 35 CC talents, Psychic Horror, probably most of the time, unless you're running with a heavy stun uh, DPS partner like a rogue, then Psychic Horror's value is reduced. But it's still optimal to use it. You can practically solo CC a healer with Psychic Horror into a Fear, into a Silence, into a Mind Control. That's probably enough to kill any DPS and CC enough a healer to pop his trinket or CD. So out of this, you can also opt to Last Word for a more defensive choice versus casters. So if you think you're playing against like a Warlock Shadow Priest or Mage Warlock, Last Word could be a good choice if you feel that they're doing too much damage. You can use this to just slowly recover. You can opt to do this versus caster cleaves, but most of the time it'll be Psychic Core. So for the level 40 talent, Shadow Crash and Auspicious Spirits are both good. But I'd rather rely on Auspicious Spirits because it's more consistent and you're more sure it'll hit than Shadow Crash. Shadow Crash is okay for like when you probably when you're playing with a rogue, you can sync it with a stun lock and then throw your Shadow Crash, more burst, smoke bomb, you can get more kills. But for like dot cleaves, mages, mage like mage shadow priest, warg shadow priest, auspicious priest would probably the go-to. And then for this is the for me the most trickiest part, the level 45. Probably damnation is good versus melee cleaves automatic because there's no way you can cast a void torrent versus melee cleaves unless they use their interrupts at the same time. Especially if their healer is a shaman. You can never cast this. But for caster cleaves, if you can pump a full channel void torrent, this will be better. In a DPS standpoint, creates more pressure. It does a lot of damage, especially if it has your three dots up on the target. So Void Torrent is definitely a talent to consider. But for melee versus melee cleaves, two melees, Damnation is less fire. Just hands down the better talent. For the last talent, you can either go Hungering Void or Ancient Madness. As for me, for like if you're going with the dot comp, like a Warlock Sharpies, a Hungering Void is better because it creates more pressure. You can cast more freely. But for like cleaves, you can go Ancient Madness to get that extra burst because you won't be able to cast that much. So you can heavily rely on your crits when you're doing your DPS. So and it also syncs well with a lot of your skills. So it's like a beefier void eruption, Ancient Madness. And this one is a more consistent damage over time. So kind of like a less burst here, but more pressure overall. So for PvP talents, of course you have to get voice shift all the time. Some people say don't get it's not that good. Yes, it's not that good a skill because you only use it when you're about to lose, but so when you use it, more or less you're probably losing already the game. But if you don't get it and someone dies, it's your fault. So just get it. So your teammates won't flame you for it. Then Greater Fade's really good. Can't don't take it. The only talent that we will probably change is Void Origins. Void Origins probably versus melee comps just to get that instant burst, especially for switching. It's good. And then for casters, probably you will up to get Thought Steal. Lasting Plague, they say it's good. It's really good if they don't have the spells and they don't have a mage. Thought Steal is definitely when you're against a mage. You stop his polymorph for 20 seconds. You can get his polymorph and polymorph their healer. So this is an extra CC2. This is basically broken versus mages. But Void Origins for melee comps, Lasting Plague if they don't have a dispel on diseases. And then other than that, well, I think those three are my will be my choices all the time. Siphene, I think it's too lackluster. People, especially experienced players, can kill it easily. It just takes like one click, one skill, and it's dead. So it's not very impactful. So this three, Void Origins, Lasting Plague, Thought Seal, will probably make the talents I'm gonna change about. So that's it for the PvP talents. So if you like my video and you like more of this kind of like ranting, guiding video, what I think, what I expect as a Shadow Priest or Shadowlands, please hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that bell so um, you can get notified every time I release a new content. Thanks for watching. If you reach the end of the video, I'm so thankful. Please support me. I'm trying my best to start this informative channel for people, especially Filipinos like me who are trying to get higher rating on PvP and want to get into World of Warcraft PvP. It's really fun. It's really engaging. I like the communication, the concept of it. Um, I hope you like it and be passionate about it as much as I do. Thank you. Bye.